Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be looking at how we can recreate this cool scroll trigger using GSAP and Webflow. Okay, so I'm in my project in Webflow, which you can clone via the link in the description. And just a quick overview of the structure that I have here. I have this section landing, which is 300 view height. That's just so we can have an area to play around with the video when we get into GSAP. If you've cloned the clonable, which is in the link, if you head down to this body tag code, you're going to want to delete that, and then we'll just add in a new one. I've already set up a new one here, just so you can play around with the code yourself. So firstly, for these two links, you're going to head to GSAP install and you'll be taken to this page. If you scroll down and click on CDN and then click scroll trigger, you'll have these two links here which you just copy. You'll then go back to Webflow, paste them in here. That's what those two are. Copy this first one and paste it just below, which I've done here already. I'm going to go to Code Sandbox, set up an account. Just quickly, if my interface looks different to yours, it's because in my settings I've just turned off this beta editor that they have because I just like the legacy one better. So once you have an account set up, create a sandbox, click the HTML and CSS, create the sandbox. You can name it whatever you want. Create a sandbox by clicking the button. And once you're in your new file, add new file here. I've called mine script.js, which we'll get into in a minute. And just from this bit here, you're going to want to copy that link there and then go back into Webflow and paste it in between those two quotes. So we've deleted everything from that first one and pasted it in there. Okay, so back into Code Sandbox. I'm just going to push this out the way. If you go on my website and find this resource, which I'll leave in the link below, you will see that I've put some code here. It's kind of like skeleton code, so you can just add some bits so you can move stuff around yourself and play around with a few things. For now, I'm just going to copy in this bit at the top. And paste this into the Code Sandbox and press Command S to save. I'm also going to publish this. Publish. So we can preview the site. So now you can see we've got these markers which are true here. That's why we can see them there. So we know that it's been installed. So just to talk through this code a little bit, we're creating a timeline animation. So here we're defining a scroll trigger, and the trigger event is going to be the main video element, which is this video here, this main video at the top. Then we have the start and end properties, which for now are top center and bottom center. I'll change these in a minute. We also have scrub true and markers true, which we just saw was working on the live site. So let's start playing around with some with the other bits of code that I've left in there and move some things around. So I'm just going back on my website and I'm copying this bit. So I'm going to paste this in. Get rid of that random spacing. So this is going to be connected to the video wrapper 1. So if you're not working from the clonable and you're just using this for your own project, then do make sure that you are using your own classes here. So this is this middle video that I have here. So I know that I want it to move down and maybe out slightly. So I'm just going to play around with some values there. And because I've left that space of view height, I'm sort of thinking within view height. So I might do something just to see 50 view height, and then on the x-axis a 5 view width or something. Command save. So now I'm back and I'm just going to refresh. There it is down there. So it's jumping quite rapidly there. So what I want to do is actually want to change the start and the end properties. When we set the start property to the top center here, we're telling GSAP to kick off the animation as soon as the top of the main video hits the center of the viewport. Same with the end property. By setting it to the bottom center, we're defining sort of the finish line of our animation. The scroll trigger will keep the animation running until that bottom of the main video scrolls to the center. But if we want more control over this, we can use percentages. So for example, if I do something like 50 center, and then something like, let's do something really long, like 500%. So this now, the center of the animation will begin when the middle is halfway down the viewpoint, and it will end when it's 500 times down, when the center is 500 times down. So I'm going to save that, and then you can sort of see, refresh. Yeah. So it's the start and the end is a lot longer now. So it feels like there's more of a smoother sort of move to it, which is good, which is what we want, because we want things to, you can see the end mark right down here, which is where we want it. So yeah, you can play around with that yourself. You don't have to use percentage. You can keep it as it was if you want to achieve something different. So yeah, this is why I sort of put out this, everything's on 0, 0, so you can fill it in yourself and just see how it works. So I'm going to copy the rest of this in and fill it out. So video wrapper 2, main video. So let's go back to here. I'm actually going to do this one by one. So let's add this one first. Move that stupid spacing. Okay, so video wrapper 2. Now we're looking at the video right at the back. So I maybe want it to come down a little bit. So maybe it's just slightly below this one and maybe goes out in the other direction. So let's try something like maybe I'll have this one. Let's do 50 view height, just see what happens. And then this one can be -5 view width. So it goes in the other direction. Command S, save. And then just refresh it. And because we're on a timeline here, this is the effect that I want to have anyway. It plays one after the other, so this one will go, then this one will go. I might tweak I obviously will tweak this a little bit because you can't see it as much, but first I'm gonna add in the animation for the main video, and then we can start tweaking little bits even more. So let's go back to my code. So yeah, move the main video down. So I want to move it down. Let's see. So if that's going to be 1 view height, this is going to be 2, 3, and then that sliding bit over. I think I'm going to move it down 200 view height, just so it sits in this empty section. So move down 200 view height. Save that. So now we should have first one, second one, and that main video coming all the way down. And after it's moved, I want it to expand full screen. So that's where I have this last bit where we look at the width and the height. Again, you can change all of this to whatever fits your style more if you're just playing around with it as well. Get rid of the stupid spacing. So we're going to do 100 view width and 100 view height. Save. So now we should have that sequence of moving down and then scale. Good. So that's our initial sequence. You can obviously move things around. So if I wanted to add something in the actual structure of my page, so let's say I wanted to add a button, if I can spell, on this video. So I've just added it in the main video box. I already have button video set up there. So I've set this button video up. I've just turned the transparency down. So this main video is actually flexbox, so we can send to the button in the middle. And then it's just a regular button. However, it does have a relative position, so it can sit on top. So yeah, that's me adding the button. Then I'm going to publish this, or I'm going to set this back to a 0 opacity, and then I will publish. So now that I've published, I'm just going to refresh the page. Everything's still working, good. Go back to code sandbox. I'm just going to copy this section right here, but I'm going to add in the class of the button that we just did, which is button video. And what I want to happen is I want this button just to appear after that gets after that size change. So there's something to click onto that you can already see the mouse is picking up that there's something clickable there. But the transparency, it's obviously just got 0 opacity. So if I go back into here, I think it was button video. Let me just double check. Yeah. And then I'm going to change this to opacity. One. And duration. Let's do like a 0.5. Save that. Refresh the page. So now when we scroll down, it should appear. Ta-da! And then with the other structure of the page that I have in Webflow, I have two things that have interactions that are just innate that I've done in Webflow. So I have that spinning of the title, and then also this section slides over and then reveals the footer. Those are just things that I've done natively in Webflow, which are pretty simple. You can just check out the animations within there. So there are some GSAP scroll trigger fundamentals for you to play around with. I hope this was helpful, and please let me know if you need any questions answered. Just comment or reach out to me on Instagram. Thank you guys.